So I'm going to share with you a few insights I've had over a few different projects I've worked on how to scale startups from nothing, 0 customers, through to your first 1,000 customers, and doing validation along the way. So actually learning a bit about your company as you're trying to scale up those initial customers. So a bit of context. So I run a company called Jifrock, and we build social ads tools, so Twitter and Facebook marketing tools to help you kind of get a better return on your investment. We do a lot of education as well. So we target companies who are kind of small to medium sized. So we give away a lot of content. That's our inbound marketing to get us clients as well. We're not an agency, which puts me in quite a cool position because it means I can tell all my secrets as much as I like, and don't have to confuse people and then charge enormous bills afterwards for agency services. Before that as well, I was part of a fund called Forward Labs, and basically got the chance to work on multiple startups, working on scaling them from 0 to 1,000 customers. So we would start up a new company, we would test and iterate on that company. If it looked good, we'd ram it home. That's now become a fund called Forward Partners. And so with that, I got a chance to actually experience what it's like to scale up multiple companies. We made loads of mistakes along the way. We've adapted a bit of lean startup methodology for ourselves, and I'm going to share a lot of the learnings from that with you guys today. So I'm going to try and cover this. So we're going to talk about how we evolved the lean startup model for us. We messed it up a few times, and we evolved on that model. How, when you're searching for product market fit with your company, how that affects your marketing strategy, especially in the early days. And why I think it's an absolutely amazing time to build a business. Digital marketing, I'm a massive marketing geek, but it is an incredible time to start a company online. How to choose those early stage marketing channels, and getting started with the basics. So hopefully not just a mindset thing, but I'm also going to give you some practical advice. You can actually start some campaigns if you're at that stage and you're ready to do some stuff. And talking a bit about AdWords, Facebook and Twitter. So I'm going to crack on. So I'm sure everyone's familiar with lean startup stuff. It was that thing everyone talked a lot about 3 years ago, but still use it all the time with my company Jifrock and all the companies we did at Forward Labs. And this is, I guess, the kind of big takeaway, which is that as a startup, you're in search for your repeatable and scalable business model. So you haven't found that yet. You're searching for product market fit. You're not ready to scale up your company, and that has a big impact on how you do your marketing. And we kind of tried, we tried lots of different strategies for validating our companies at Forward Labs. And one of the things we found was that it's a kind of traditional lean startup, or the way I understood it at least, was that you create a set of assumptions for your business. And those assumptions are, I can get users to sign up to my product. I can get suppliers to come on board. All those different assets of the company, and they're kind of binary assumptions. So you say, yeah, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. And what we found pretty early on is that assumptions shouldn't be binary. They actually change over time. So rather than kind of what you might have on week 1 might be completely different to what you have on week 6. And the same assumption that you validated on week 1 is now invalid on week 6. And literally we burnt through tons of cash learning that the hard way. So we kind of evolved the model to be a bit more based around real life metrics, real life KPIs in the business. And we did that by, this is like a kind of, you can see it right? This is a kind of typical financial projection. It's a pretty simple one, but this is maybe for a subscription site. So it's kind of like a marketing funnel in a way. You've got at the top, you've got your visitors, and then you're going to convert 10% of them to members, and then from there 2% of them will buy, and at the end we get a really cool thing at the bottom, which is some profit. And we would run these financial models for lots of different companies. Most companies don't get past this stage, but if this looks good, then at that point we can start acting on that. And you can't see it very well, but each of these, when you're doing this financial model, what you're doing is basically guessing what each of these different metrics are. So we think we can get 50,000 people a month to our website, our landing page. We think 10% of them are going to convert. We think 2% of those would buy, and we think that's what our profit will end up like. But all of that stuff is just invented. It's just a complete fairy tale, basically. But what you can do is actually with Lean Startup, instead of just giving this to a VC and saying, here's my financial projections, this is what I'm going to do, you can test each of these different assumptions from your business model directly. So like one of the kind of, if you go to a lean startup event, the kind of most common question I've ever heard was, when do you know when an assumption is valid? And if you do them from the business model, if you're taking these metrics out and you're saying, in order for me to make that profit down the bottom, I need a 10% conversion rate. and you can test that with a landing page. You can say, you don't have to build all the other stuff about your product. You just build a landing page. Can I get 10% of those people to register for my product? If you can't, then you've got a problem from day one. But you've also got a number that you can use to then say whether you're ready to move on to the next thing. And so what we came up with is this kind of like traffic lights model. So you have these metrics that have come out of your business model, and they all start with red lights. So everything's unvalid at this point. And then over time, as you test these different assumptions, these go from orange to green. And hopefully at the end, you've got a full set of green lights. And for us, what we did is then we take this financial model with all these green lights, and we go to our investors and say, here you go, guys, we've got this financial model. It's really exciting, and we've kind of tested this assumption, and these are the results. So instead of being this kind of fiction-based financial projection, it's actually based on a little bit of truth. And that's far more powerful for us anyway. But this has an enormous impact on how you do marketing. So I guess the number one thing by kind of validating startups, this model, is that your mum isn't a valid test market. You can't just kind of take this to your family and friends and say, here you go, I've created this cool landing page, see if you like it, we sign up. The traffic that you're sending through to these early tests has to be or mirror the traffic sources that you're going to do in your business model. So if you've said in your business plan, your business model, that you're going to use Google AdWords or SEO or something, and you start sending it around to your Twitter followers, it's not particularly good data. But you can use those early channels from day one. You don't need to wait until year 2 before you start ramming up and scaling home. The other thing is you need something that you can turn on like a tap. So we in Forward Labs, it was about going as fast as possible. We wanted to validate as many ideas as possible. And if you've got a marketing channel that you can turn on, you can send some traffic through to an MVP or whatever it might be, get some data, talk to some customers, meet them offline, Skype call them, whatever, and then create a new iteration, turn that tap back on again, and you can keep doing that. Turn the tap on, turn the tap off, turn the tap on, turn it off. And it's a very, very quick way of iterating through your cycle, through your build, measure, learn stuff. And what you're doing is that traffic is traffic that you think might be future sources of traffic as well. And what that means is no one-off traffic sources as well. So it's great getting on Hacker News and TechCrunch and stuff like that. Massive boost to the ego, great for your SEO rankings maybe. But the reality is that traffic is going to be a bunch of early adopters, perhaps who aren't the customers of your product. So they can actually be quite damaging traffic because it actually can dilute the data that you're using to test your assumptions of your business model. So those kind of things aren't something I'd rely on. And also, you want really fast cycle times. So you want to be able to turn something on, blast a ton of traffic through, get some data as fast as possible. So you're not spending months and months trying to validate your company. And one kind of really important thing is to use these customers for your early customer development. So these are not just numbers on the spreadsheet that I showed you. These are real people who you can talk to, you can learn from. That was one of the massive mistakes we made early on, is that we didn't talk to enough customers. And although the numbers were looking really good for one of our companies, which is like this, I think it was like a kind of a financial backtesting software. Numbers looked amazing. Then we started calling people up, and we realized the audience was completely different to the audience that we thought we were actually attracting. And instead of going for small kind of investors, we were going for big institutional investors. So that we were actually tackling a completely different problem, and we didn't realize it. So like getting those customers early, trying to get Skype IDs or doing some hangouts with 5 or 6 people, whatever it might be, get that data and start learning from people as soon as you can. And one bonus point, if you can, is getting a channel that you can also build a brand from. So the social channels are great for that. You can not only can you acquire customers, but you can also scale a brand online, and you can build one very quickly if you're doing the right things. So you might have guessed, but all these things are pointing to a horrible fact, which when I talk about it, tends to be like I've trodden on some people's toys, and that is that it probably means they're paid channels. So if you want something you can turn it off and on really quickly, if you want something that kind of matches that business model in the future, they tend to all be paid channels, which is not what everyone wants to hear, but a sad fact from our experience from what we did. But it's not all bad. Basically, right now you've got to think, I guess, your time is effectively your marketing budget as well. If you're spending months and months and months doing kind of hacking together different sources of traffic, that's also a cost to your business. Maybe you're bootstrapping it and actually you're paying yourself no salary or something for 2 months. That's still a cost. That's still an expense. So can you spend a couple of £100 here, a couple of £100 here to get those learnings really quickly and start iterating on your company? And right now it's a really good time to do it. So back when I started marketing, there was kind of this world of digital marketing where it was an index of different web content. So people would search for something and they'd find a piece of content, or it would be you could do banner ads or something on other people's websites. And so what you were limited to back then, in terms of the type of ideas and businesses you could start, were all based on stuff that people were already searching for, or stuff that people were already visiting. And what's awesome about now is that now you've got the networks. You can target this big web of kind of people, digital objects, physical objects, all connected together, and you can target people with interesting content, ideas, your products to the right audience at the right time, which now means you can create a whole raft of new ideas and new businesses, which I think is a big part of why there's an enormous explosion of startups at the moment, is that you can take a product which no one's ever heard of, or a completely brand new concept, and you can find an audience for it. And you can do that really quickly through paid media. So the next question is, what channels do you use? So there's kind of something for everyone right now, which is why it's so exciting for people like me. Basically, anyone who's searching for something online, then the obvious choice is Google AdWords. You can literally get fired up straight away. You get your traffic, and you're done. Really simple. Anyone searching for something, here's my landing page. If you don't have anyone searching for that product, then Facebook is unbelievably powerful for demographic targeting. You can get their data is bar none the best you can use. And you can target people 35 to 40 females in London who are parents, which I've done for a few campaigns. Like, you can get really, really granular, and you can reach an audience that don't necessarily know about the thing that you're talking about. And the same goes for interest targeting. So it's not just the demographics you can target with social ads. You can also target interest targeting. So anyone if you wanted to reach marketers, you could target anyone who follows me or follows Drift.Rock, anything like that. And Twitter's amazing for that. Facebook's also introducing lots of kind of interest graph-based stuff as well. So, and if you start talking about anything or liking anything on Facebook, they're building up this massive interest graph, which you can target people with as well. So hopefully you can reach people for new ideas as well through those channels. The other thing is, so a lot of people kind of said to me, oh yeah, this doesn't really work because my engine of growth is viral engine of growth. So I just want to give it to a bunch of people and it's going to grow organically. The sad thing is that's a really, really hard thing to do. Getting a viral coefficient of +1 is very, very hard, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of iterations through trying to get that viral loop to work for you. So you still need to seed it somehow. You still need to have a consistent kind of stream of traffic that you can push through that viral loop, and you can test and iterate on it. So even the big companies who have really cracked it, so like Zynga and stuff like that, they've got really viral games that are exploding in growth, but they still spend an absurd amount of money on Twitter and Facebook ads because they're still trying to pump in that traffic that is then going to spread really quickly. So Facebook and Twitter are great for that. If you've got a viral product, it's probably not going to be something people are searching for. So you can seed it with a bunch of really targeted people to your product. And then you've got physical products. So Kickstarter is not just a funding platform; it's a marketing platform. You can validate ideas really quickly on that platform. You might want to back that up with some other marketing to try and get people to come on board. Effectively, your Kickstarter landing page is your landing page that you would, like any other marketing channel, you would send people to your Kickstarter page and try and get them to buy your product. And if you've got anything that someone searches for, then obviously you can just do some AdWords for physical products. B2B, just pick up the phone, go and sell. That's kind of enterprise stuff, pretty simple, although I'm not very good at that. B2B self-serve is more like Drift.Rock. So what we do is, so we use Twitter ads, we use Facebook ads, we use Google AdWords, all the same kind of channels you'd expect from a consumer product. They work really well as well. So people sign up, register, buy. It works great. Local services is harder. You have to be a bit more guerrilla about things. I still think digital marketing's got a little bit of catching up to do in the local space, but it's kind of getting there. So you have to be a bit more creative. Maybe it's standing outside a supermarket and handing out flyers or something, or talking to people. It's better. Yeah, that's harder, but it's getting there. And one kind of caveat which I always put on here, and it's one of my biggest bugbears, is that you hear a lot of marketers saying, I tried Facebook ads and they don't work. Don't even bother trying it. Or I tried Twitter ads and they're really expensive. You have to have massive CPAs to make it work. They just haven't got it to work for their product. Don't listen to those guys. You've got to experiment. You've got to test. You've got to think about the fact that new channels like Twitter and Facebook. Well, Facebook's mature now, but Twitter's not that new in the UK. There's not many advertisers doing it in the UK. Self-serve only launched 4 or 5 months ago, so you can now pay with a credit card. That means there's not many people doing that. So if you can learn faster than everyone else in the room or outside the room, you can actually transform your business, not just acquire customers and compete with people. You can completely transform your business. You can grow incredibly quickly if you can get better at doing that marketing channel than anyone else. So experiment. So do you need to be an expert marketer to do everything I've just told you? So for me, I can come up with an idea. I can fire up some campaigns. I can get some traffic through. Sure, it's easy. I guess there's some truth in that. It's easier for someone who's got lots of experience to do this stuff. But digital marketing isn't as hard as everyone makes out. There's a lot of people in the industry and outside the industry who deliberately kind of confuse things and make it really complicated, and it's not as hard as everyone thinks. Like literally, Google, Facebook, and Twitter, they've invested a lot of money in trying to make their interfaces that you can buy advertising through as user-friendly and as educational as possible to get new advertisers on board. And so I think you'll find a lot of the time if you just dive into something and just give it a try and experiment, you don't have to do crazy big budgets or anything like that. You don't have to spend loads of money, but you'll learn very, very quickly. And there's loads of people, around London tech scene's amazing. You just have to go and talk to a friend who does a bit of digital marketing, talk to some back campaigns and stuff like that. You can learn very, very quickly. And kind of, I guess, it's kind of touched on a bit earlier, so I don't want to go into this too much detail, but beware of the kind of the buzzwords and stuff like that. So this is a new marketing concept that if one of you guys tweets today, JAPBW, instantly becomes a buzzword, which is basically just another tedious buzzword. And kind of, so a lot of the stuff you see out there is just kind of it's inbound marketing for other people's products. So you just got to know the basics, and then from there you can kind of start marketing your products. So it's actually touched on earlier, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but you've got your customer acquisition cost or your CPA for the thing you care about, and you've got your lifetime value of your customer. So if you're acquiring people for less than your lifetime value of your customer, you're making profit. That's the kind of bottom line. And those numbers, your CPA for the things you care about, becomes the golden number for your as a marketer. So rather, you don't have to do big profit and loss spreadsheets or anything like that. You know that if your target cost per action for the thing you care about, which may be a lead, or it may be a sale, or it may be a registration. If you're acquiring customers for less than that number, then you're doing something right, and then you can scale up. And so it's very, very quick and it's easy to iterate on that stuff. So you got that down, you can start doing marketing. You've got other things that kind of contribute to those two numbers. So you've got your click-through rates, you've got your cost per click, you've got your conversion rates, average order value, ROI. All kind of basic stuff I'm sure you guys know already. And that's kind of all you need, really, to get started. How much time have I got? So I've got, how much? I've got 15 minutes or so. So I can dive into some platforms, and I've got some, what I've put together. I want you guys to be able to go away and do some stuff straight away. So I put together kind of a bunch of cheat sheets for each of the different platforms. And I can talk through that stuff, through the highlights, or I can just go straight to questions if anyone wants to talk about more of the kind of the top level marketing stuff. So does anyone want to go and dive into kind of in detail Google, Facebook, and Twitter advertising and some pitfalls? How many people want to do that? That's quite a lot. Cool. Okay. Sweet. So I can cover Google AdWords, Facebook, and Twitter. Go through that pretty fast. What I'm going to show you is there are a bunch of tips that once you start, if you fired up Google AdWords, for example, and you started and you had this cheat sheet next to you, it starts to make a little bit more sense. So it's quite unless you guys have already dived into the platform, some of it might be a little bit. Some of it might be a little bit kind of advanced at the moment, but I think as soon as you start doing that advertising, it will become very, 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 very clear. So ultra basics for Google. These are your ads. You've got your banner ads on the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down the right-hand side, so it's an auction. Actually, one thing before I get into this, one thing to bear in mind is that, so Google, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest soon, Instagram soon, they're all auction sites. And one thing that I kind of struggled with the concept quite early on was that these auction sites, they might charge you on CPC, or on Twitter, cost per engagement, or on Facebook, it's CPC and OCPM, all these different things. But all these three sites, all these companies care about one metric, which is eCPM, so effective cost per 1,000 impressions. So for every 1,000 impressions on Google, on a keywords, or Facebook, or on Twitter, they are trying to optimize to make the most amount of money per 1,000 impressions. And so they've all built they're all built by ex-Google engineers, I think, pretty much. But they're all like, so these are auction sites based on optimizing for that metric. So it's normally a bid price times a quality score, so that they know that the most exciting ads that you run on these platforms are not just going to be good for users, but they're also going to increase the engagement on those ads, which means actually they make more money. So it's not just a straight auction where whoever pays the most wins. It's also a combination of how likely they are to engage with that advert. And obviously, if you've got one advertiser who's maybe bidding £10 and one advertiser who's bidding £5, if that advertiser who's bidding £5 has an ad that is 10 times more engagement, it makes way more sense to put the advertiser who's bidding £5 in position 1. So that's something to bear in mind with all these different marketing platforms. You're looking to create really engaging, really adverts, or whether it's on Google, Facebook, or Twitter, that have high engagement, and it will make your costs go down very quickly. So that's really basic stuff. So this is Google. So you've got your organic results down there, really small, but obviously that's the kind of longer term strategy. But you've got your adverts here. This is quite a competitive search term, holidays in Spain. Yeah, cool. So there's my number one rule for when talking to startups about, and I don't know what stage you guys are at, but I'm kind of, I guess there's some early stage stuff in here. Number one rule is do not do any Google AdWords advertising at all until you have at least 3 pages of content, unique content. So a massive mistake people make is going to one of the kind of landing page creation websites, creating a one-page landing page template which tests your value proposition, has a big button in the middle that says sign up, and then ram some traffic through Google AdWords, and Google sends AdBot through and says, this is a bridge page. There's no content here. This is really bad quality for my search results, and then penalizes that company. It might be, it might be really innocent, and you're just doing. You just want to test your value proposition to a few people, but unless Google thinks that you're a real website, you get penalized for it. And that's because people like me in the early days were doing things called bridge pages, and we were trying to send people through and kind of send them off to another site really quickly. So Google put that in. So make sure that before you do any Google AdWords, you've got at least 3 pages of content. It's unique content, and even put in maybe a terms of service and privacy policy early on, because that makes you look normal. And you are normal. You've got great sites. So just make sure that's in, and you can actually, and the history for that penalty that you might get if you get deemed as a bridge page is actually lasts for quite a long time. So and it's on your domain as well. So you might spend thousands of pounds on a really nice shiny new domain, start sending Google traffic through, and it might really hurt you for the next few months. So make sure you get that content first. The bold ones are ones that I'm going to kind of go through now because they're most important. So landing pages must be super relevant. So get your keywords on the page. Don't over spam it, but just obviously make sure that the landing page that you're targeting these search terms at is relevant to the search terms. It's kind of basic stuff, and it will increase your conversion rate as well. So definitely do that. The kind of holy metric for me at least is click-through rate. It's kind of so Google has this concept of quality score, which is a combination of your click-through rate, your landing page score, and your ad relevance. But click-through rate is the one that really kind of makes the biggest difference. If you can optimize your click-through rate to go up, not only are you're increasing the amount of clicks per impressions that they're shown, therefore you're making Google happy because they've got a high eCPM, which I talked about earlier. But also it means you've probably got really relevant ads as well, because if you're getting a high click-through rate for the search terms you're advertising for, it's very likely that you've got really relevant ads and keywords. And the way to check that is that if you're bidding on the keyword holidays in Spain, you can see that each of the keywords that are bolded in this page are where you're searching for something and it's mentioned in the advert as well. So this is actually, maybe should have shown a different one, but if you don't have the keyword in your ad, it just disappears from the ad space completely. So one kind of really basic thing for getting your click-through rate is just make sure that you're organizing your keywords into nice buckets. So each bucket of keywords, each ad group has ads that contain that keyword. Because then when they show on Google search results, you get this really nice bolded keywords. And that will massively increase your click-through rate. And it'll also help your ad relevance score, which is good for your quality score. Another thing is add site links to all your ads. These are site links. The second ad down, you can just about see them. They're extra links that you get with your ads. Make sure you add them. They add loads of extra clicks when you get them. You get kind of rewarded for them if you get really high quality scores. So if you've got really high quality, really engaging ad, you get rewarded with additional site links. But make sure you put them in all of your ad groups and campaigns, even if you don't think you can get them, because Google actually gives, I don't know if this is actually 100% certain, but I think if you get a little bit of penalty if you don't put those in as well these days, from what I hear. Another really important thing is that people don't read adverts. So you can spend ages doing the most creative, awesome copy. No one reads it. The things you want to do in Google AdWords are just things that get people to click on your ad, really. So calls to action that shout out about the thing they're searching for. So if you've got sale and exclamation mark, if you're targeting the UK, make sure you put UK in. That increases click-through rate on most of the time. Symbols, numbers, they make them stand out from normal text. So let's go back to this. Maybe we've got some examples. So the two top ads on this thing, the three top ads have all got price in their ads. So numbers just make things stand out more than the kind of traditional, just hardcore text. So make sure you put in numbers and special characters, even if they're kind of not that important for what you're doing. I also got told by Google once that on the right-hand side, if you create a triangle of bold, so if you've got your keyword in the the left-hand side of your first line, keyword in the right-hand side of your second line, and keyword in the left-hand side of your third line, you create this triangle of bold effect, and apparently that increases click-through rate. So random stuff like that is worth testing. And the way to get this right is just to experiment. So just create multiple ads per ad group that are relevant to your keywords, and then you'll eventually get really good click-through rates. Cool. Facebook. Everyone ready for Facebook? Cool. So Facebook, you've got kind of two main places your ads are going to show. On desktop, you've got the right-hand side ads, which are more traditional kind of ad style. On mobile and on desktop, you've got the newsfeed ads, which are these ones in the middle. So this is one of the GIFROC ones. One of the things that I'm going to put in here, and this is kind of coming back to my earlier point, you can make profit from direct response on Facebook and Twitter. So this is a direct response ad that we're doing for GIFROC. If you click this, you go straight through to a landing page where you're prompted to buy our product, and we have profitable acquisition from that channel. So this is not lead gen, this is not any of that stuff. This is just literally just direct response straight through to our site, and we're making money from it. So top tips. Oh, by the way, this deck will go up, so you don't have to scribble down notes and stuff like that. This will be shared. First tip: don't use the boost button on any of the. So when you see a timeline, there's a boost button on Facebook, which then promotes it to a few more people. Don't use that because you don't have any control over where those ads get sent. You can't target them using all powerful Facebook's targeting stuff. So make sure you create the ads completely from fresh in Power Editor, which is Google's kind of offline editor, which you can download for Chrome. So to get Power Editor, you just go into your ads interface, and there's a link for Power Editor on the left-hand side. It's really easy to find. Power Editor is a bit more fiddly, but it's way more powerful than just doing it through the standard ads interface. You get more features, it's quicker to create campaigns, and you'll get better results. So that's the kind of number one. And the second big rule of Facebook is to use your Facebook conversion pixels. So Facebook conversion pixels have two really, really good benefits for Facebook ads. Number one is that you get a different view on your attribution modeling. So Facebook will count a conversion if someone sees an ad in 24 hours, then converts, or clicks on an ad and then within 30 days then goes through and converts. If you look at it just in Google Analytics and ignore the kind of funnel upwards, what you're looking at is last click wins only. So you might not see all the different touch points of the different ads that you're running on Facebook and how they contributed to conversions. I wouldn't use Facebook's conversion pixel to say that, okay, I spent £100 and I made this much money back. It's more of a kind of gauge to see okay, so I'm running these ads and they're having this effect on the amount of conversions I'm having. The second big benefit is that Facebook uses the conversion pixel data to auto-optimize your ads if you choose the bid type OCPM. So OCPM is like this is basically automated bidding for Facebook. So you can say, I want to get these actions at £5 an action. And Facebook will auto-optimize your ads to find people on Facebook that are more likely to have that action with you. You need to have a fairly big audience size to use that feature, and you need to have lots of conversions. So if you've got like you need lots of data within 24 hours, basically. If you've got a few conversions happening once in a while, then maybe go up the funnel a little bit and go, maybe it's, instead of being the end sale, maybe it's submitting a form or clicking on a button, but you can still do the same kind of thing. But effectively, what you're doing is optimizing your ads for the thing that you care about, not just for impressions or clicks or anything like that. So key KPIs you want to look at. So engagement rate is a bit like click-through rate on Google AdWords. So engagement rate, you want to be as high as possible. So again, same thing, coming back to the golden rule, which is that Facebook is also optimizing for eCPM. They're trying to make as much money per 1,000 impressions as they can. So if you've got a really high engaging ad that's getting lots of comments, lots of shares, that's also great for the user experience on Facebook, but it's also going to make them more money. So you want to have an ad that is getting lots of engagement. And you can optimize for that. So maybe you can ask a question, or maybe you can maybe you can say, click here for this awesome offer, or whatever it might be. Frequency is something you need to care about. So there's a concept on Facebook called ad decay. So so the general strategy on Facebook is to create lots and lots of so one campaign, and within that multiple ad sets, and each ad set is targeting a different audience. Within each ad set, you've then got your ads. And the thing is, if you're targeting an audience with an ad set for too long, that ad will be seen too many times for that user. So eventually your frequency will go up, and people will get bored of that ad, and your CPAs will start to go up, your performance goes down. So you need to refresh your creative on Facebook quite regularly. And if you've got really, really engaging content that's getting loads and loads of comments, shares, and likes, you don't have to refresh it as much as if you've got an ad that is kind of not getting great engagement, which is why engagement is really important still. So I already mentioned the strategy for for setting everything up. The structure is really important. So each ad set should target one audience only, and all the ads within that ad set should all target the same audience. That's really important for optimizing which ads get shown, and also being able to see that I spent this much money and made this much money back. How long have we got? Good. Cool. All right. Oh, and lookalikes are awesome. So you can upload a custom audience to Facebook, which is basically a bunch of your own customer data. So it might be people who have previously bought from you before. You can upload them to Facebook, and you can either target them with ads, which is cool because you can re-engage them and get them to buy again, perhaps, or you can exclude them from your ads if you don't want to waste money targeting the same people again. Or even cooler, you can do what's called lookalikes, which means you can take that audience and you can find more people like that audience. And it sounds a bit far-fetched. It's like, no, surely that can't work for my company. It works really, really well. They've got very good at doing that. So yeah, definitely try lookalikes. If you've got, you need about 1,000 records for that to work, though. But definitely give it a try. Twitter. So this is kind of, again, four main places you can advertise on Twitter. You've got the most basic, which is this who to follow box on the side. You'll see the yellow pointed arrow. That's a promoted something. So on the right, you've got a promoted account, and so you can try and get some more followers and build your audience. In the middle, you've got this simply measured one is a promoted tweet. And so you can advertise to people in their timelines by targeting them either by targeting people who follow a certain @handle or people who are like the people who follow that @handle. So if you wanted to target marketers, you could put @DriftRock into your, by the way, don't target our followers, but yeah, because we want to keep them for ourselves. But if you wanted to target DriftRock, you could put DriftRock in as an @handle and target followers that follow DriftRock. You can target people by what they mention in their tweets, so keywords. So if they mention digital marketing, we could target ads at those people. And super quick, because we're running out of time. I guess the most important thing to remember is with Twitter ads is to focus on the thing that you care about. So the biggest mistake people make is by treating your promoted tweets like you treat your organic tweets. Putting hashtags and images and @handles and all that good stuff into tweets definitely increases engagement rate, but it also it potentially gives you engagements that aren't necessarily the thing you care about. So Twitter charges you based on engagement on a tweet. So if you click on a tweet to open it, expand it. If you click on a picture to expand it. If you click on a hashtag, if you apply, retweet, favorite anything, you get charged a cost per engagement. So if you've put hashtags in your promoted tweets, then people might be clicking on those hashtags to use them to navigate around Twitter. That's not necessarily what you want to do as a business. You might just want to get them to click on your link. So if you want to try to drive people off site on Twitter, just put value proposition, call to action, link. And maybe sometimes putting a picture works, sometimes it doesn't, depending on the picture and the type of stuff you're doing. But it's all about experimenting with that stuff. So that's probably the biggest tip with Twitter. But it's all about basically kind of researching who your audience are following on Twitter, what they're tweeting about, and you use that to then propel and do your targeting better on Twitter.